Alright guys, we got a Ford Focus in a Chevy shop, which is kind of BS. What the hell is this in my garage for? The problem we got here, this car slid into a curb, supposedly 10 miles an hour. You tell me, guys. Look at that front wheel. Look at that one. Is that 10 mile an hour? It's got a bent tie rod on the rack and pinion. That one's straight. That one's turned. Is that 10 mile an hour do that? Who's to say? We're just gonna fix it. Here's the big problem. Ford sucks in a Chevy garage. We're gonna do it. We'll be back. George is gonna help. Alright guys, what we got here is a Ford Focus. 10 miles an hour. 10 mile an hour slide into a curb. That's what happens to your tie rod. You gotta go straight, people. Not hitting curbs. What we got underneath, I've already installed it. I should have started the recording earlier. George wants to help. He knows how to do it. Here it is right here, the tie rod. We got lucky. We didn't have to take the A-frame off. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's up in here. I got the boot on already. Sorry, should have showed you guys. But what I did, I took a pipe wrench and snuck it up in here and undid it so we could install the new one. Now, let me get my old ass up. What we got going on is we got to replace the outer tie rod. If my assistant could hand that to me. Ford Focus. She handed it to me in the package. Let's try to get that out of the package. Thank you. Ford Focus in a Chevy shop. Not a good thing, but we'll do it. Here's the outer tie rod. And what you have to keep in mind when you're doing the outer tie rod is you count the turns as you come off the inner tie rod. My screen went blank. Why? And we're back. I don't know what happened there. But when you reinstall these, you want to count backwards. And you want to make sure when you're counting backwards, you add your 0. If you get your 0 in there, that's where you originally start. You start here, you count to 1, so you've already turned it. So when you're counting backwards, your 0 is your final stop. We'll go ahead and install this, get it on the road, and we'll see what goes from there. Alright, here we're putting the tie rod on, the outer tie rod. We're at 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and like I said, don't forget the 0, because you start here. You start here, you go 1 when you're taking it off. So you don't forget the 0 putting it back on. That's going to put you close to your alignment. You still should get an alignment on this vehicle. Okay, here's the Ford. Yay, Ford. We got it done. The wheel straight. It's parallel with this wheel here also. And I apologize. I'll get better with making these videos on how to. But basically, what happened is they slid into a curb. It's icy outside. And this is what they did. They bent. This is the inner tie rod. And we put it on. Had to use a pipe wrench to get it off. Normally what you have to do is you take the lower control arm off the vehicle, but I was able to get in there with a pipe wrench to get that off. If you look here, the wheel straight now, parallel with the other wheel. You're not going to get it exactly perfect, but if you do the counting method and add your 0, you can get it to where you can drive and it's not going to cause any problems. But it is recommended that you get an alignment done on the vehicle. So we'll take her off the jack. One other thing I wanted to show you guys, it is a Ford, but with any car, look at this battery. Look at this battery here. Look at all that corrosion on that battery. If you want your car to start in the morning when it's cold, or any day, you need to clean that off. So what I'm going to do, once I get this car down off the jack, I'll remove the battery cables, clean them up with a wire brush, and then I'll use some bearing grease or any type of grease, put it on the terminals, and it will keep it from corroding. So let me get it jacked down, and then we'll clean that battery up, because there's going to be a day where they come out and it's just not going to start. Let's talk about something else here. We got this heater in here, which turns out to be pretty nice. This little heater here, what's it saying? 75 degrees in here. There's one thing about this heater. You can get these from your farm and home supply. And this thermal coupler here is tucked up behind the back by the fan, and it makes it cycle on off, on off, on off, on off. And what I did is I pulled it down and I just left it hanging here. So now it's running constant until it gets to the temperature it's set for. I got it set at 80 and it's at 75 in here. According to that, it says 75, but you know, back here in the garage, I'm sure it's more like 60. But outside, it's 35 degrees. And it's a nice little heater. I really like it. It's doing a good job. So let me get this car off the jack, and we'll clean that battery up. Okay, so what we did, I took it off, cleaned it up. It was so corroded that it broke. So we're gonna have to go get a new one. That's what happens. You let this stuff corrode so much. Every winter, every fall, let's go every fall, clean your batteries, people. I was able to get this one off. I scraped it with a wire brush and cleaned it up real nice. I just used some grease. This is you know, some type of wheel bearing grease, any type of grease. I put it on the terminals. That keeps it from corroding. So what we gotta do now is we gotta go and get a new one of those. So we'll run and go get one. I'll clean these wires up real good, put some grease on there, and we'll finish it up. Alright guys, we went ahead and changed the end of the battery terminal there, wire terminal, whatever you want to call it. We took it off to try to clean it. It broke. Why did it break? Lack of maintenance. So we took it off, cleaned it up. We put some grease on both sides. Come on, people. You really need to maintain your vehicles. Battery acid corrodes and breaks. That's trash. So we got that together. We fixed the wheel, and it's still a Ford. OMG, it's a Ford. I believe that says Chevrolet on it. So we got to get this Ford out of my garage. So till next time, always hit the like button. Y'all have a good day and be careful.